Good morning. Today we're going to be doing glass studies. So we're going to be dealing with how to draw the transparency of glass. The reason why I started these videos is I could not find you good, consistently good charcoal drawing videos online on YouTube. I did find a couple, so I did download all those. Hutchinson from the Art Students League is probably the best video I found. So he's on there. Under, I think it's glass demonstration. So that's a good video to watch because he's a different artist than I am, but he's still teaching you how to deal with glass. And so today we're going to deal with 3 pieces of glass. Oh, you might not be able to see it, my light's on. So I've got a nice tall vase. I've drawn this vase. I've painted this vase before, so I know it pretty well. And then these 2 little pieces. I put it on a dark ground to see if that helps you see the glass better, because glass tends to sometimes wash out if it's all too light. Okay, so let's get started. Turn my light back on. Alright, so what we're doing today is we're back to, if you remember, the two round forms with the ellipses. We have to deal with those ellipses again and the objects. That's the first step. So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out where on the picture plane these would go. And I would love to turn this and do a portrait, but I can't because I can't get this damn computer to do everything it needs to do to transfer it. And then when I actually managed to turn it, it cut my picture down, and you couldn't even see me. You just saw a hand and talking off frame. So I gave up. And we're doing this all landscape. Alright? So first we're going to deal with that big long one first. I'm just going to take a line down from where I think it's going to start and where I think it's going to go. And I'm looking for a relatively straight line because what I'm going to do is put my ellipses on that line and try to balance it out. So that's my big one, my big tall vase. My other one, if you actually look, comes down at an angle and is about here. And the little baby one is about here. So that's kind of like a fast way to suggest your composition. And so now I think that's good. This may be too far down. Well, I think that's okay. Alright, now let's go back to the tall one. Let's just get that one started. We're going to, again, this is our center line. It's not even going to be in the drawing when we're done, but we need it. Now we have to find our ellipse in the thickness of that vase and try to get this to work today. Some days you draw better than others. You will find that. And there are days, I have days when I can't even get a painting to do anything. And then you just walk away and you go back. And hopefully this is not one of those days. Okay, yeah, there we got it. Alright, so I think that's good for my first ellipse. Yes. Now we're going to come down. If you, like we've talked about in the past, if you can break it down to a shape so that you see it, then do so. It makes life easier. So the ellipse, I'm good with the ellipse. And there's like a triangle coming off that vase. And it's just the basic shape of it. And then there's like a little rectangle here. And then there's almost a circle, or not a circle, but another oval, which is the body of the vase itself. I think it's a little further down here. And now, of course, I have to draw dark so you can see it. You draw as light as you can, and it'll make erasing easier. The base of the vase is actually slightly, again, we're going to do that measurement thing. It's actually slightly more narrow than the top. So we're going to go in with this bottom. And so it just looks like a weird kind of construction thing. And I want that a little rounder, I think. Let's see. But that's how I would find my internal measurements. This is like a proportional measurement thing. It's like, where are the proportional measurements? What's relating to what? So you don't have one circle too big and the other's not. This you won't need at all. This you don't need. The rest you'll end up needing, because now I'm going to make sure it's right. See, this one's off. See it? It's tilted wrong. I got to fix that. because I've got it like it's tilted, and it's not really tilted. That's better. Now I'm going to try to actually take all these lines and pull that vase together. I'm happy with this top. I want to soften that a little bit, open that up a little bit. So now I want to come down here, and I want to merge it, and I want to merge it with this outside. And then I want to make it round. So that's why I did all that work, so that I have a guide to do this, because I always have a problem with this side being the same as that side, and I think I'm a little off already, but not so bad that I can't fix it. Okay, so this is our contour, too wide. So this is our contour line. You're going to find that this video is going to end up being like an hour and a half. It's going to probably be three videos. Will probably be contour, drawing, shape, beginning, shading, and then detail, because there's a lot of work to get the detail of glass. So now we have to just come down here, and it's got this interesting rounded kind of bottom, and it comes off like that. I'm breaking this. It's very soft charcoal. I found it, I don't like Walmart, but I end up going there because there's not much else in Pittsfield. So I found them at Walmart for way cheaper than the art supply store. And they have a box of soft, medium, and kind of hard. And I'm using up the soft. So if you need Vine, that is a store that did have them. I haven't been to Michael's lately since they reopened, so I don't know what they have for drawing supplies right now. I should stop and check in case you have questions. All right, so this right now this should be, if you look at just the outer study of this, I think we're good. I think this footing here might be a little off. It needs to be a little fatter. Let's see. All right, now let's go in and remove what I do not need. I do not need this half circle. I do need this one though, because that's the back of the vase. I do not need any of these. Okay. I do not need that line anymore, or the V for the triangle, but I did need it to make sure I was in the proper shape. There you go. Now that's a basic outer contour, and I'm pretty happy with that one. It's pretty good. Now what you're going to do, we can jump to the next one, but I think we're here, so let's just get some detail in. Well, actually, no, I don't want you to do detail. Let's jump to these now. So I'd like to get a control of the space, and then detail all of them, and then go back. Now, we have these, I purposely overlapped one over the other so you can see that. I want to make sure I'm still going down. Now this is an interesting little pot. Again, this is my center line, so I'm going to try to draw, get out of your way, I'm going to try to draw my ellipse right over with that line in the center of my lips, and it will disappear again, just like that one, because it's just a guide for us. And I think I'm over a little too much already on that line. You're probably going, no, you're over already. And if you're like me, I sometimes talk to the TV. All right, now I come down, and there is this one has a wider base. That one had a narrower base at its top, but this one definitely has a wider base. And if you look at the shape of this one, again, it becomes like this, and then it does something like this, and then you round it off. Again, break it down to the simplest shape, and it's not that narrow. I was too narrow. It's almost a rectangle, not quite. So right here, I want to make sure I'm straight. I'm really notoriously bad with straight lines. Okay. When people say that to me, when they find out, oh, I can't draw a straight line. Well, I can't either. So, never understood that. All right. Here we go. Boy, I'm crooked today. Everything I'm drawing is kind of crooked. Let's change that now. I'm crooked. It's a crooked day. All right, go down. I think that's better. That's a little better. Alright, that's a little better. This is off. Let's fix that. Alright, so I'm happy with that. So there's our bottom, there's our top. Now we're going to merge the two together. And it's a round little pot or glass vase. We're going to try. It's going to meet out here, not back there. That's incorporated into the glass. So it's actually, and this one doesn't really have a fancy foot like that one. It just ends like that. So it's a little fat. And it may be too big up there. I may drop that down once I step back and look. I may have overestimated the top of it. Okay, again, we have to make sure I'm on line there, on point. If anything, this has got to get a little fatter. This can get a little, I'm going to do both actually. I'm going to make this a little narrower because I don't have the symmetry of the vase at all. I've offed it a little bit. So I'm going to go down. I'm going to try to cut this down just a little. Okay. See, this is where you really make your changes before you get into charcoal, especially when you're doing the glass. It's really easy to modify in the vine. Dropping it down, that's better. I'm going to cut my line down. So it actually could just be the thickness of the line. I have really thick lines today. There we go. And then we're going to make this a little fatter on this side and a little fatter on this side. Try not to be crooked. I'm trying not to be crooked. I'm going to go a little fatter, a little fatter. Oh, did that make it any different? Or are you looking at it going, it didn't change it. All right, let's remove these so they're out of our way visually. And that should, unless I can make it a little hippier. Okay, I'm happy with that, except again, I'm crooked. Today is a crooked day. Alright, let me fix that. It's still crooked. That's better. Alright. Okay. I want this to be a little fatter. So I'm just going to give her some couple pounds here. Alright, I'm going to first just draw it over the original line just to see if I can get the kind of like this hippie quality a little rounder, which is what's happening on this little. Alright, this is too high. I need to drop it down and make it a little rounder here. So let me ease that now. Let me negotiate my mistakes. Alright, that's better. Oh, that's better. Just the erased line is better than what I had. Alright, that is, think, better now. Let's see. Let's step back and look at it. Alright, I'm happy with that now. Actually, that's better. Okay? This needs to be a little rounder. Alright. Now, right in front of this is the little glass, little winey glass thing. I don't think it's a wine glass, but I don't really know what it is. It's from the cupboard, and I don't like where I've got the line. The line really should be only overlaps by its hub right there, so I think the line really should be here. I think that's better. And so this is an actual little ball. So I'm gonna find the top of the wine glass. See, I've got it too close. It doesn't overlap that far in. So let's move it over even one more. Right here. Yeah, it's better. Now find the front of the top of it. It's a little fatter because it's down front. So I'm seeing a little more of the inside of it because it's closer to me, and I'm seeing a little more, and it's shorter, so I'm seeing a little more of the inside of that. I think that's good. That's pretty good. And now this is really just almost a total ball, and then we can go back, and we're going to draw a circle, and we're going to go back and cut down that circle. How I draw a circle is I literally just do this, and then I touch down until I get the circle to do what I want. I saw that in a video. Famous artist by the name, oh God, I just lost his name. And he just did that in the air and then walked up to the painting and put it onto the wall, and it was like amazing. And I watched that a couple of times as a young student and thought, oh, that's how one does circles. And I practiced until I managed to pull it off. Okay, this is just a fast rough. This comes at a subtle angle in. It's not exactly, this is the widest point, like this is the widest point, and this is the widest point on that vase. But I'm happy with that. It's pretty good. Now we have to go back in and negotiate the sides off of here. And I might go, this may even go a little wider. I may even decide that this needs to be a little wider, and I'll show you why. Because this comes down and circles and catches that, I think this is a cognac glass, or something like that. There you go. Alright. I think that's it, but you're such a mess you can't see it. Let me clean it up and show you what I've done. Sometimes you have to definitely learn to draw in chaos. Oh, I need this. It needs to be lightly there because that's how it overlaps that back base. That needs to come out of there, and now we need to step back. Notice this is doing this and this is not. So again, I'm back to my one side is right and one side's not. I like this side. Let's step back and see if that's what's happening. I think I'm happy with that, except this is too wide. So let's clean that up again. And let's pull this in a little more. And turn. Quickly gonna go like round. Alright, I think that's good. That's back there. And that's good. Now inside, this, where the stem is attached, is right up here. You can see it in the glass itself. It's going like that. And you can actually see it. It kind of looks warped because it looks like multiple rings. And then it comes straight off like that, comes straight down. And then you have another, the base is a kind of a flat circle. And let's see if I can negotiate that. I'm still not happy with that. I gotta go back and make that right. Because this is a perfect circle that sits right there where this stem comes out of, and I don't have it as a perfect circle. So I still have something going on. Oh, better. Okay, gotta fix this now. I smudged it and it doesn't work. Now it works, I think. Alright, that looks good. Straight down, half circle, straight down. And it's repeating itself. There's this glass the glass tube here comes down. It comes into like a half circle, comes like that, and half circle, and then around it is a nice half circle. Rounder in the front, less in the back. Because again, we're looking at it. I think I need to trim that line down. That's better. That's pretty good actually. And there's a lot of light darks going on. Okay, let's step back and see. That's actually good. Those are my 3 glass elements drawn in. Now, they're just drawn in. Now we have detail to get into. So let's continue with this one. These have the least amount of detail. They mostly have light and darks going on. This one has a lot more detail. So basically in here you're going to have some shading going on here. There's a lot of shading going on here. Otherwise, and a lot of shading going on here. Otherwise, these don't have a lot of, there's nothing really on them. They're the simplest of bases. And definitely control what you're drawing. I mean, it's your drawing. Don't give yourself something that's so complicated you're pulling your hair out. Alright, now the cast shadows from this, there's shading going on back here. there's a nice cast shadow coming off like here. This has some cast shadow happening here. This has an interesting kind of linear, and then it shades itself. So it's almost like it's the light is creating, because the light, our light source is here again. Let me show you that. And so this is almost throwing itself a long shadow, and then you get a kind of faded out shadow of its top pushed over there. This has really strong light happening right here coming off, and it's interesting because it fractures, and you'll see, because there's stuff going on there, and it definitely fractures, and it almost hits this in an interesting pattern. There is, this actually is kind of the plane line of drawing. So that's where the dark
8 minutes
goes here. Yep, this is where the dark goes here. Okay, and there's a nice cast shadow there. And then there is some lights and darks, but we're going to go the opposite direction for those because we want them to look like the background space. Let's get a little bit of contour studies before we're done here today. On this one, in this vase, there are these interesting, let's see if I can draw them quickly. There are these interesting shapes that echo the vase shape, and they're indents. So they actually look like indents like this, kind of indented, and so they're rounded and they disappear. They're rounded, and they disappear on this face. And they do the same thing here, but they're a little wider down here, and they come off of 1/2 circle hub right there. Okay? And then down here, it does this weird kind of, because that linear line continues. I hope you can see that. Continues. And then it almost fractures to a flattened kind of weird surface thing going on, and it's catching light. And then the base has this thick bottom, very thick bottom, to try to hold this heavy base up. They made it quite thick on the bottom. And that has interesting light elements. There's a center point right here, and they kind of come out like that from that center point. And you'll see as we start to shade, that's important because we need to capture, that's why you have this fractured light here. So you have 3 of them in the back, and the alternate space from these 3 would be here and here, and we got to put one here because we have to. So we would put them there, and in the back they're going to be a little smaller and a little less defined, and they're going to disappear into the lip of that vase. Alright, so that's what we have so far. This is contour study of glass, 3 glass pieces, and we'll be back.